Design thinking is neither art, nor science, nor religion. It is the capacity ultimately for integrative thinking. So hello and welcome. I'm your host, Dr. Ruby Gill, and I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to all on the behalf of lovely professional university. So attendees, we all are gathered here virtually to witness an incredible session with our expert today, as he's going to tell us all about design thinking for product development. So before we commence, let me introduce the expert of the session, Dr. Rajesh Verma, Professor and Senior Dean, Mittal School of Business, lovely professional university. An intellectual personality with an experience of 19 years and acted as a resource person in more than 35 faculty development programs and has organized 8 national and international level conferences and workshops of repute. His expertise lies in the areas of market orientation, political marketing, business models, marketing research, and strategic management. To his credit, he has been awarded with Research Appreciation Award from Honorable Minister of Human Resource Development, Government of India. He has published 18 case studies and more than 50 research papers in topmost journals and has done enormous amount of work in publishing books as well. So, sir, it's a privilege to have you on board with us today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
With equal pleasure, I would like to welcome our admission nominee, Ms. Rachna Bajaj, Senior Assistant, lovely professional university. So attendees, today she's going to provide us the information about admission process, eligibility, scholarship, infrastructure, and the other highlights of the university. So thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us your valuable time. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
With this, we'll begin our today's webinar and looking forward for a great interactive session. So over to you, ma'am, for the admission part of the university.
Sure, ma'am. Just give me a second. I'll share my screen. Okay, I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it is, ma'am.
Okay, so a very good evening to all the students present here with us. I hope you all are doing fine and safe at your home. So today I'll be just quickly sharing few of the parameters which are important for you as a student to get aware about a university institute while applying for admissions. So let's talk about LPU and how LPU is actually making a difference and following the Think Big slogan. So first up in the list, we have LPU creating history when 12 out of 13 LPU students brought laurels to the country. Moving ahead, our student Neeraj Chopra, we congratulate Neeraj Chopra for becoming the first Indian to clinch the Lausanne Diamond League with a best throw of 89.08 meters. Moving ahead, we have thousands of LPU alumni working in top MNCs across US, Canada, Australia at the packages of over 1 crore and above. We have, as you can see, we have students placed in Amazon, Google, Apple, Facebook, and several other platforms. So now let's talk about the parameters. I suppose it is one of the most important aspects which you should be considering before applying for admissions at any university or college. And if I talk about LPU, these are some of the rankings of 2023, the Times Higher Education World University ranking, where LPU has been ranked 23rd amongst top universities of India, amongst government and private universities of India. Further, we have the NIRF ranking. If I talk about overall rankings of NIRF, the Ministry of Education, Government of India, LPU has been ranked 47th amongst all government and private universities in India. Further, talking about the Mittal School of Business ranking, where several business programs, management programs, commerce programs take place, we stand at 34th amongst all government and private management institutions in India. We also have the Atal ranking of institutions on innovation achievements, where LPU has been ranked 3rd in India. So now let's talk about the campus life and exposure offered. As a student, make sure that you gain as much exposure you can. And if I talk about LP students have got ample of opportunities to interact with Nobel laureates, be at national or international level. So let's show you a quick glimpse of few of the delegates, authorities who have visited our university, and students have got opportunities to interact with them. So first up in the list, we have the 106th Indian Science Congress with focal theme Future India, Science and Technology, which was inaugurated by Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi. Moving ahead, we had Nobel laureate, the 14th Dalai Lama at our campus for the 5th convocation. We also had former President of India, late Shri Pranab Mukherjee, twice at campus for the convocation. Late Shri Arun Jaitley ji for inauguration of LPU Startup School. A very familiar face, a motivational speaker and a life coach, Gaur Gopal Das ji, who interacted with the students and motivated them and guided them about life. Moving ahead with some of the heartthrobs, my personal favorite too, we had Shah Rukh Khan in campus, we had Sonam Kapoor for the promotion of Khoobsurat. Coke Studio was even organized at campus, and I'm pretty sure that there are several fans of Amit Trivedi and Coke Studio present here with us today. And a heartthrob, and for the cricket fans, MS Dhoni, he was also at campus. Apart from this, we had several other celebrities available at the campus. So now let's talk about the infrastructure, because you will be making several memories in these classrooms. You will be learning in these laboratories. Let's show you a quick glimpse of the infrastructure, the facilities which are being offered to the students at Lovely Professional University. So this is an inside view of our 9-storied central library with approximately 20 lakh books available, not just in offline but online mode as well. We have 3 amphitheaters inside the university where several nukkad nataks, theater acts take place. An inside view of our Shanti Devi Mittal Auditorium with a capacity of approximately 2,500 audience, being the largest indoor stadium in the region. An outside view of our university mall, one of my favorite place, rather I would say. This mall covers all the basic necessities, outlets, stores which are required. If I talk about dining areas, courier facilities, stationaries, we have bowling area for our students, because apart from academics, we want you to enjoy your leisure time as well. A gymnasium available inside the university mall for our students. Apart from this, in case of any medical issues, health issues, we have hostel facilities available inside the campus. If I talk about eye specialists, dental specialists, special facilities, we have physiotherapy wards available inside, general wards are available, chemist shop is available if you feel any such health issues. An outside view of our indoor stadium. It has several sports facilities. Let's take you inside the stadium. This is a view of our Olympic level swimming pool, which is an all-weather pool, and it is available in our university campus. 12 badminton courts for our students, shooting area, open playgrounds, a mesmerizing picture clicked by one of our students, a beautiful night view of our university hostel. So apart from this, now I would like to share how you can apply for admissions at our university. This was all about the various parameters which you should be considering before taking admission in the university. So what you have to do is just simply visit our website, which is www.lpu.in. And on the top, you can see an icon of admissions where we have listed all the programs as per your eligibility, be it after 12th programs, after graduation programs, after 10th diploma programs, if you want to proceed for PhD programs as well. So I'll just quickly show how to apply for after 12th programs. Just click on after 12th programs, and all the disciplines which are available at LPU will be right in front of you, be it management, engineering, computer applications, law, etc. So let's say I'm interested in management program. I'll click on management, and you can see all the programs related to BBA honors, the specializations which are being offered will be right in front of you. So I'll just click on this regular program, BBA. The duration, which is 3 years, has been mentioned. We have also mentioned the eligibility criteria. Once you scroll, you can see the placements, the student achievements, some of the rankings related to this program. The curriculum details, I suppose many of you will be curious what will be taught in this program. So we have listed the 3-year curriculum details with a brief of the subject. And once you scroll down, you can see the fee structure. Here we have the without scholarship fees, and then we have listed the fees after scholarship you can avail. We have scholarships on various parameters. We have scholarship on the basis of your last qualification. We have scholarship on the basis of LPU NEST exam, which is National Entrance and Scholarship Test. For majority of the program, this test acts as an eligibility parameter, but it will also help you avail better scholarship. So this is the tentative cutoff which we have mentioned. Once you scroll down, you can see some other scholarships which are being offered under the programs. We have scholarship on the basis of innovation, startup, entrepreneurship. We have scholarship on the basis of sports, cultural, co-curricular, social service, toppers of education board. We have scholarship under financial aid for need-based. If I talk about economically weaker section, we have scholarship for single girl child, for single mothers. We also have financial aid for serving, retired defense, paramilitary, financial aid to orphans, financial aid to person with certain disability, and in case of blind as well. So if you know anyone, you can share such information with with your near ones regarding the financial aids which we are offering. And to apply for these scholarships for sports or to inquire about any other scholarship, feel free to mail us at admissions@lpu.co.in. Once you scroll down, you can see we have listed down the important dates. As you can see, the last date to apply for admission is 5th of March, but where the examination, the LP NEST exam is compulsory, the registration is going on, and the exam will be conducted between 1st February to 10th February. So contact us, know more about the details of the program if you have any queries, or you can visit the website as well. Apart from this, if you want to get in touch with us, you can schedule a call for yourself. You can reach our WhatsApp team. You can also call on our helpline number, which has been listed down there on the website. And for your ease, you can see there is an apply now option. And once you click on apply now option, you just fill your basic details and you will get yourself registered, which will be the initial step to apply for admissions at LPU. So over to you, Dr. Ruby. I suppose I have shared all the basic details which are required to a student to apply for admissions at our university. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for sharing the valuable information with among our students. And I believe that they have gained all the information how to reach us via mail, via website, or through phone call or video call. So yes, we are here to assist you for your every problem. So you can reach us. Thank you so much, ma'am, for briefing the students. And now we have our expert with us today, Dr. Rajesh Verma, sir. So over to you, sir.
Thank you. Ruby, I think I am audible and the PPT is visible.
Yes, sir, it is, sir.
Thank you. So very good evening to all of you and welcome to this session. Though design thinking is a way of thinking which has been now talked about by almost everyone and almost in every field. But what I'll try and do today is that I'll take you through the design thinking journey and I'll take it from the perspective of developing a product, right? So that's how I'll take it through, and I'll ensure I'll not make it very technical for you and it would be very, very simple to understand. So that's how I'll try and do it. So why this topic, probably, right? So if I'm sure all of you would have seen this bottle at your home, as most of us use tomato ketchup, right? But then a common problem which all of us used to face was generally that when you actually want to put it on your bread or whatever way you want to eat it, it was very thick and it was very difficult to come out, and you used to actually press it from the end, and that's how you used to put the ketchup onto your bread. And along with that, on the bottle head, it used to have the ketchup stuck and somehow it looked unhygienic. So what the companies thought about and what the companies did about was that they inverted the bottle. right? And I'm sure all of you would have seen this. They change the design of the bottle, they change the material with which the bottle is made. And these kind of bottles now you see everywhere. In your washroom also, if you go, you'll find your shampoos, your creams, all inverted upside down. Why? Because now it makes very, very convenient for the consumers to squeeze it, one. So you don't have to hit it hard from the bottom, and there's no chances of breakage. Plus, it's a squeeze cap, so you flip up the cap and there is no concentration of ketchup around the neck. So it is not unhygienic also, right? So it's very clean and it's very convenient to use for the consumer. Now that's where something, the concept of design comes into picture, right? So all of us are consumer, and the examples which I'm giving you, all of you would be able to relate to these examples, right? So I hope you got the concept why I'm talking about this topic, and that's what design is all about, right? Now, what comes to your mind when you hear the word design, right? So a very common, that something how the product looks like, right? So design of an iPod was so successful that at one point of time, even the car companies had to change the design of the cars to ensure that the iPod is functional within the cars, right? So that's how it was so popular. Or the design that comes to your mind probably would be the Coke bottle, which the designer took the inspiration from cocoa pod, which is an exotic herb, right? So that's how that bottle, which is still very, very popular, was designed. So something of this kind comes to your mind when you immediately think of, or you might think of iPhone, you might think of a car design, right? So that comes to your mind. But design is not only products, right? So it's not about product. We might visualize it as a form of a product, but it's not about product. It's about services. For example, online banking, WhatsApp itself is a design. Facebook is itself a design which helps communication. Or systems like UID, biometric attendance, or Internet of Things, communication like teaser ads, skywriting, mobile ads, virtual addresses, sign languages, UI, UX. A lot of people have been talking about this now. All these are not a physical form of product, but they are a part of a design, right, which gives convenience to the consumers. So interaction, mobile phones, telephone, virtual group teams, video conferencing, all this becomes a part of your design, right? Why I'm saying it is that let us not limit the design to a very narrow definition of it to the product form, but you have to look at it from a bigger perspective where design is looked as a form of solution for a lot of problems which consumer generally faces, right? All these which I have presented in front of you, all these are solutions to a lot of problems which we have, right? When I say problem, doesn't mean that it's negative, but it is, we are looking for some way of coming out of a situation, right? So we didn't want to go to theaters, right? It's an inconvenience. We wanted to see movie in the blanket, right, within our homes, right? So probably a company thought of giving you an OTT platform, right? So Netflix was there, right? So entertainment form. So it's a solution to your problem, but that's a design. That's a way that you don't have to see movie only in theaters, but you can see it at your own home also, right? So a lot of all these solutions. So what is a design then? So design is not about aesthetics. Design is not about a product, but for me, design is a solution, right? A solution to your problems or solution which you generally face, or whatever way you look at. But then there is some situation where you need somebody should help you out, and that's where the design comes into play, right? And if you look at the image here, you would find that in 1980s, if we wanted to speak to somebody, we had a telephone, but a wired telephone, right? But when slowly the transition, we wanted that we want to speak to people, but we should not be restricted to something which is tied to a wire or to the home. So we should be going out and talking to people. So we had mobile phones, right? So design. Tomorrow, the way we are now talking about chat GPT, or we are talking of artificial intelligence, right? Tomorrow, you never know that we have a chip inserted in our mind, and then if we think about talking to somebody, we may not even need a mobile phone, but we can talk to them directly without even a mobile phone, right? So that's possible, right? So design is something which is providing you solution, and I'll give you one more example. Chrysler, a company, they recalled 10 lakh vehicle due to they created a new design, which is a rocker shift gear shift, right? You understand gear shift. So they created a new gear shift, and but then later on they had to recall cars back. Why they had to recall the cars back? Because the gear used to automatically go back to the center position, and people used to get out of a car thinking it is parked, whereas it was not parked, right? It is in a gear, or it is in a reverse mode, or it is in a neutral. The gear used to come back to the central position. And because of that, there were 100 crashes and 40 injuries. But somehow when the cases were reported to the company said, no, we have created a wonderful design. It is a problem of people who don't understand that. So you should read your manual very carefully, and the driver should see onto the light, whether it is on gear 1, 2 or park. So somehow they gave an idea, or they gave an explanation that our design is a beautiful design, wonderful design. Once in a lifetime, we create such kind of a design, but somehow they did not agree to that there is a problem. But then in 2016, the star tech actor, I hope most of you would know him, he died because of the same reason. He was parking his vehicle at his home. He thought that the vehicle is now parked, but then somehow the vehicle was neutral, and when he was closing the gates of his home, the vehicle rolled back and he was crushed between gate and the car. Now, because of that, company then realized that genuinely, because there was a lot of error and a lot of anger amongst the people, so then the company realized there might be some challenge. They try to understand what the problem is. And in simple terms, I'll give you, don't go by technicalities of it, but I'll just simply explain it to you. I am a driver. I feel I know to drive the car, right? But I don't know how does the car gear works. You never know how the technology works, how does what happens in the car when you change the gear, right? So that's one side of it, interaction model, right? One side of it says that you probably can drive a car. On the other hand, the engineer says, I know the best to design the car, I know best to design a gear engine, but I may not know to drive the car. So then there is a clash between the understanding. One knows the driving, but he does not know about gear. But on the other hand, another person knows how to develop a gear, but he does not know how to drive a car. So there is a gap between the understanding of the two, and that's where the design thinking comes into play, right? So which means that the product should be designed in a way which solves the consumer problem. So we are not designing a product in a way that it is a technologically very superior product, but it creates problem for the consumers. So then it's not design thinking. So design thinking is from the perspective of consumer, and then they had to change their car design. And similarly, I'll give you another simple example of Vada Power, right? Most of you might have tried this Vada Power. How was the Vada Power created? It was created in Mumbai, and a person saw that a lot of people come in the train and they rushed to their work because there was a textile mill close by. So he wanted to give them to eat something which can be taken in hand and they can eat it while running to the factory. Why so? Because in Mumbai, you know that people start traveling very early in the morning, so they had not had breakfast at their home. And that's how he created this Vada Pav. Now again, Vada Pav today might be very, very popular, but why was it created? It was created to solve a problem of a consumer who did not have breakfast at home, but was in hurry to reach the textile mill. But then you need to give him something which he can eat on the run. So it should not spoil his clothes, or he should enjoy it while eating, but then on the run, he should be eating it. So that's how Vada Pav was created. Again, in both the examples, in the Chrysler, which is an automobile company, a Vada Pav, which is a very small product, In both the cases, what was more important was the problem of consumer. To solve that, you need to apply design thinking. So quickly, if I give you what is the difference between art and design, design thinking is not an exclusive property of designers, right? So it is not something to do with that somebody has to know art or drawing or creativity. It's not that, right? So everybody can do design thinking. It's a way of thinking, so everybody can do it, right? So somebody should not confuse it that because the name is design thinking, it is related to some designing, right? So it's not that. It's only a way how to think about, right? And if you read the last line, it says, design thinking is about creating things that people need. And who are the people? Me and you, all consumers, everyone, right? All around us. So what is design thinking? Design thinking is a creative problem solving approach. So there is a problem, consumer faces some challenge, and then we are giving him that solution. And that's what the design thinking is, right? So it's combine what desirable form of human point of view is there, and if I give him a product, it should also be profitable. So two things are being combined together. One, the need of the consumer is very, very important, and second, anything which I am designing should be economically feasible and viable. So to summarize it, design thinking is only a mindset. So it has nothing to do with a lot of other things, but it is about how you think about a situation. And I'll give you another example to illustrate it. There's a train in UK, and it's known by Virgin, right? So it's a very popular brand. So they had a problem that people used to, when they board the train, they used to stand close to the doors. Everywhere this is problem, right? When you enter the bus also, you try to stay close to the door so that getting down is very easy. But the seats in the middle are empty. So this was the challenge they faced. So they thought, how do we find out solution for it, right? So they wrote it on the gates that please reduce congestion, but this did not help. So what they did was they used a game. I think you would have also heard about it, Monopoly game, where you need to play it and you earn money or you lose money, right? So what they did was, and it's a very popular game in UK and developed world. So they painted the floor of the train using Monopoly game. So if you stay onto the door, close to the door, you lose money. When you go into the train, you start earning money. Now, there was no real money involved into it. It was only psychological, and nobody wanted to lose money. And they started playing with each other. Every day you travel with the common travelers, right? When you go to the work. So then they started making money, or they started saying he lost, I won. And in this way, the train was able to find out a solution for the problem they were facing, right? Of the congestion. So this is design thinking, right? So you need to figure out the solution to a problem. So why do we use design thinking? Because it's a powerful process of problem solving that begins with understanding the needs of the consumer. Any product, I'm using a mobile phone, this is solving my problem, right, of communication. I'm wearing this coat, this is solving my problem of not feeling cold but feeling warm. So that means design thinking is a process which would help you find a solution to what the customer need is. So for example, Ola, Zomato, Swiggy. Look at this. Oyo is a company which is providing you hotels, but they don't own a hotel. They don't have a hotel, but still they're providing you hotels. Ola, they may not own a car, but they are providing you car services. Zomato, they may not cook food, but then still they are providing you food services. But look at the problems they have solved for the people. Earlier, the taxis used to bargain, very difficult to bargain, but Ola, it's so simple for you now to figure out a taxi and use it. So a problem was solved. So this is a quick process, which I'll take you through for design thinking, and you'll understand how the products are developed from beginning to end using design thinking. The first step is empathize. And I'm sure all of you would have seen this kind of remote at your home. But if I ask you how many buttons do you use in this remote, the answer probably would be 4 to 5 buttons maximum you would use, right? You change the channel, you sound, you mute it, switch on and off. That's the 6 buttons probably you use. Then why should company give us so many buttons onto the remote? Because they feel the more I give, the people would feel I'm giving them better services. But look at another change now, which you might have witnessed at your own home. Everybody would have witnessed this change. The remotes that come now are with these 6 buttons, 6, 7 buttons, right? So which means that you need to understand it from the consumer perspective. What is empathy? Empathy is that you put yourself in others' shoes. When you are designing a product, don't design it from the perspective of company, but design it from the perspective of the customer. So when you did this research that how many buttons does a consumer use, and he uses only 6, then why give him 20, 50 buttons onto the remote? So they change the design of the remote. Whereas the new remote can solve much more problems. If you go to the menu, all these features which you see on the previous remote, you can use it whenever needed. But if not needed, they have given you simple stuff. So this is what is known as empathy, and this is the first step of design thinking. Another example, Google Glass didn't succeed much because when you wear this on to your eyes, one, it does not look good. So why should consumer wear something which is not looking good on his face? And second, when you are wearing this, the person you are speaking to, he would always suspect you कि आप record कर रहे हो मुझे, right? You are recording me. So from both the consumer perspective, not a good design, right? On the other hand, Bose audio sunglasses, what they do, they said, okay, you carry your sunglasses with you, but you have to carry your earplugs also with you, with the wired earplugs or maybe Bluetooth earplugs, but you have to carry your earphones with you, right? So they clubbed two. So in the handles of the sunglasses, they added the audio system. So it solved the problem, right? So rather than 2 devices, now you can wear only sunglass and you can connect it to your mobile phone and listen to the audio. And it is created in such a way that it even doesn't disturb your people sitting next to you. So that's the kind of things you have to think of from the consumer perspective, right? Another example is a product was created because when a kid takes birth, you put him in an incubator, right? So which is very costly. So what about the people in the rural villages? So then a Stanford University student, he founded a incubator, which you can see here, and it was distributed amongst the areas like in India also, and in African countries where people cannot pay money. And it was approximately made out of 1% of the cost which the traditional incubator was made. So again, empathize. A lot of people have problems. A lot of kids die in places because without incubator. So he created a product for them. So that is empathy. Another example, I'm sure with examples you can understand better. So MRI machines, when you fall ill, you go to hospital and then you have to go into this MRI machine. This is very, very scary. And for kids, it is much more scary. So again, in University of California, again, students designed this MRI machine, which is like a train, which comes from outside the room and takes you into this MRI machine. And the kids feel that we are playing a game. The train is going into the cave. So, but then again, look at this, small initiatives, but thought from the consumer's point of view. So that's why it is empathy. So the first step of new product development always start with the word empathy, right? Then your second step is define. You have to define the problem. First is empathized, right? They have a problem and we have to give them a product. So first is only empathy. I have not designed a product for them. I give you an example of products, but you have still not designed a product for them. So we have to define their problem more. So let us say, if I give you an example, in rural area, company wanted to sell their Colgate toothpaste, but somehow people did not buy it. And the reason is that in rural areas, you have Datun, which is not at all costly, freely available. And the company tried a lot, but they didn't succeed. But then they thought of let us define the problem. What is the problem of the consumer? It is not that it is freely available, only because of that they are not buying it. So they studied the consumers of rural areas. They figured out a very unique problem, that when you use datun, you probably don't need water. And when you use it, and you can do it while roaming around, right? So you've gone to market, or you are going to your father-in-law's home, or you are going with the shepherd, so ships grazing, you can use it wherever you want it, because it doesn't need water. Second, you can speak to people while doing it, because it doesn't look unhygienic. On the other hand, to use Colgate, you need to carry water all around, and you cannot speak to people when it is you are brushing your teeth, because it would look unhygienic, right? Then they realized that it is not about a product, it is more to do with the behavior they have, the way they talk to people, the way they actually use datun, right? And then they came out with tooth powder, Colgate tooth powder. So you can take it in your hand, you can brush it, you don't need water, and it doesn't look unhygienic. So that was the replacement. And slowly they made people use Colgate later on. So that's how you define the problem. You have to go into depth and understand what the problem is, right? Then you have to ideate. Till now, product is not made. I'm giving examples of product, but I'm explaining the process, right? So in empathize, you saw that people have a lot of problems. So you're just looking from the empathy point of view. I have to solve it, right? Then you define that problem. Now you have to generate a lot of ideas. How do I, and what kind of solutions do I give to the people, right? So that's the ideate process. In ideate process, let us say this is a problem. A person has to cross this small bridge, right? So what can he do about it? So he can build a bridge, he can jump over it, he can get down and get up, or he can use a balloon to fly over it, right? So there can be many solutions, and this is what is known as ideation. So you don't only try to find out one solution. Now let us say this is, what do you see here? This is a urinal at Amsterdam airport, Netherlands, right? So you might be seeing a small fly there in the urinal pot. So why did the person use it there, right? And simple reason he found out was that men generally love to play with their urine stream, and there was a lot of spillage all around, and for cleaning that you needed manpower. But by using this fly, people used to aim at the fly, and the spillage got reduced. And what does the fact says? Having a fly in the toilet urinal reduced spillage by 80%, which represents saving in cleaning cost of 20% or more. So you are saving cost. So ideation, you have to generate a lot of ideas and figure out how can the problem be solved. And the best way to have a good idea is to have a lot of ideas. You cannot just stop at one idea. You need to have a lot of ideas. And I'm sure you know that you have two parts of the brain, left brain and right brain. So left brain is more logical, numbers, facts, figures, right? Whereas right hand side is more emotions, feeling, fun, colors. So when left brain stops giving answer, the answers generally come from the right brain, and you need to be very creative. For example, if I ask you this question, 5 plus 5 plus 5 is equals to 550. Using a simple line, prove this equation. Now your left brain might keep on saying 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 15. It cannot be 550. It is 15. It cannot be 550. But then your right brain might give you an answer like this. So you just put a red line over the 4 and it becomes 545 plus 5 is equals to 550. Now it may not be a logical answer, but it is actually giving you an answer. But so you need to be creative, to think a lot of ideas, right? You have to generate ideas, right? Why is it that before OYO there was no idea on how hurdles can be clubbed? Now you can think, okay, now we can create this kind of a solution, right? When Uber was created, Ola was also created. But before Uber, nobody thought of that, right? So you need to be very creative in designing a lot of ideas. And there are a lot of ideas and there are a lot of techniques which give you ideas. Right? For example, this is a truck which is stuck under a bridge. Now, even if you reverse it or you move it forward, either the bridge would be destroyed or a truck is destroyed. What to do about it? A simple logic says, okay, you inflate the tires, right? थोड़ी हवा निकाल दो टायर की नीचे हो जाएंगे, then you can move. But these ideas don't come to your mind on their own. So you need to ideate, you need to think, and there are a lot of techniques. All these are techniques. All these are techniques. Though I'm not taking you through these techniques, but there are n number of techniques to create a lot of ideas. Out of this, one technique is this scammer. Right? What does scammer means? For example, earlier you used to sit on table, on chair, and you have a table separate. But when people had a problem of room, they actually clubbed table and chair together. You might see a lot of table and chairs clubbed in the schools or colleges. So that means you rearranged something or you combined something. Right? We had a camera separate, we had a phone separate. Somebody thought of combining it and making your mobile phone, which has no camera. Then somebody put a radio also into it. So radio also into mobile phone. So there are a lot of techniques in the existing product. You can substitute it, you can combine it, you can rearrange it, you can adapt it, you can modify it. And all these are giving you new ideas. So this is one of the easiest technique of creating a lot of new ideas, right? And another example is mitti cool. You have a problem of electricity in the rural areas, no electricity. So how do you use refrigerator then? That means you cannot use a refrigerator. So somebody thought of creating a refrigerator out of mud. So it has water all around. You can put water into it and then you can keep vegetables in it, will keep fresh. And he has received award from Rashtrapati for his innovation. Only question is ideation, right? You keep on ideating, you keep on thinking about things, right? So, but then there are a lot of examples. For example, General Electric created a portable ECG machine. If the patients cannot go to hospital, the hospital can come to people, right? So you have a portable ECG machine. If everybody cannot have a microscope in the lab, in the rural areas, or maybe the poor people, you have a paper microscope created by Manu Prakash, which is as low as $1 price. But that means a lot of ideation is being happening. A lot of people are ideating, thinking about it, how to solve people's problems. That is what is ideation. This is another example, though it's not exactly design thinking, but if you see a cow here, one of the village in Africa had a problem of attacks from tigers. And there is one study which says that tigers don't attack if you look into the eyes of the tiger. Or if tiger feels that the animal has seen you, then he generally doesn't attack. So in the African country, the tribal people actually painted eyes on the back of their cows, and it gave tiger a feel that somebody is watching me, and then they don't attack, and this reduced the animal deaths, right? So creative solutions, but you have to creatively think of ideation, right? You have to come out. First time when electricity was created, I don't think if people would have stopped thinking about it, so we should not have the LCDs or LEDs which we are using today. They would not have been created. So continuously we have to creatively think of solutions, ideation, right? A lot of ideas should come up. Once you are clear with idea, then you need to design a prototype. What is prototype? Prototype is something like, if you see these images, before creating the real product, you create a paper product, or you create some other 3D printers. A lot of 3D printers are available now, right? So that you can actually get feedback from the consumer and you can see whether it is feasible, if people would accept it or people would not accept it. That's the way you have to create before going in for full scale manufacturing. before developing and investing a lot of money into it, you need to be very sure. So that's why the prototype is created. This is one product which is available on Amazon. If you go, it's Jico Hub, right? But how was it created? Using prototype. Look at, these are the prototypes. We had some raw material available in our home, waste material. We had football pieces available. So we thought of creating a prototype. And now Jico Hub is one of popular items to keep your items, right? So this is how it was created. Or a very simple example, look at this. This is known as Nimble. In a lot of companies, you will find a lot of boxes keep coming, and that pulling out tape on the box is very difficult. So now you have this Nimble, you wear it on your finger and you can cut it across. How was it designed? Look at this. A cleaning glove, and then you tied a cutter blade on the other hand and you use this. So from a glove, you started using this, and this is how the product is created. So prototype and the real product. Finally, the last stage is test. Once you have created a product, now you have to test in the real market, whether this would be acceptable now exactly or not. And one simple example of test I'll give you is Maaza. When Maaza was created, there was no other fruit juice in the bottles. This was the first experiment. Before this, people used to either eat fruit or they used to have that traditional machine of pulling out juice, but it was never sold in a bottle. So when Maaza thought of introducing, they thought that we will introduce in Delhi, but nobody was too ready to keep it because they thought whether the product would get sold or not. So they said, okay, then they convinced the people, the panwalas, right? All of you understand panwala. They said, you keep the product with you. If it doesn't get sold, we'll take it back. And we are not asking you to give us money now. Even if it gets sold, then you actually give us money back, right? And the next day, there was a huge demand for this product, and this product became successful. But that was a way of testing it in Delhi. Before rolling out across the country, it was tested in Delhi, right? So that's the entire design thinking process I took you through, and I'm sure you would have got a fairly good idea on how a product, from the stage where you are trying to sympathize with the people that they have a problem, right? And then moving ahead through all the stages and creating the final new product. That's what the design thinking process is all about. So thank you very much. I hope, and if you have some questions, you can ask me, and or you can also mail us or send us across any numbers you have, which were shared by the admission team with you, and we would be ready to give you answers to all your questions. So thank you. Ruby, over to you.
Knowledge is exactly what students needed today to move forward and grow exponentially. So thank you so much, sir, for your visionary thoughts. So we have a few queries from the attendees. So with your permission, we'll take up one or two queries.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll take one query. So the query is from Kiran Jot. She wants to know that how LPU supports and guides a student to get a better placement.
Okay, so I think not a question related to design thinking, but more to do with placements. And let me tell you, in any good business school, right, the focus of the placement is not the end product. For us, the placement is again the entire process, right? So starting from the day of admission, we ensure that students actually prepare their own career plans. And from the first term itself, you have a mentor with you who would actually guide you through that career plan, and you keep on working on that. And along with that, we keep on providing you a lot of training on what is required. And all those trainings are provided to you in the area where you want to make your career, right? And all those trainings are provided. So we have a school of career enhancement, right, which trains you in soft skills, analytical skills, which are required during the interviews and final placement process. Then there are faculty members who are actually enriching you with a lot of technical skills in whatever area you want to specialize in. And then there is a complete set of team which actually ensures that you are actually making the career in the area where you intend to make your career, right? And not to mention, but then we have a separate division of career services, and their responsibility is to bring in a lot of corporates to the campus to ensure that every student who aspires to make a career gets a company of his or own choice.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for resolving the query of our attendee. So with this, sir, we'll conclude today's webinar. So that's all for today, attendees. Thank you so much for sparing time and participating in the webinar. We appreciate you all for being here, and I believe your knowledge has been enriched by this webinar. Also, I would like to express my appreciation to experts for their valuable contribution. I'm sure, sir, your years of research, your years of experience will definitely help the audience to choose the right path. So until next time, I, Ruby Girl, finally sign off the session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Ruby.